Have you ever considered using heroes and tried building different items for them? If not, you must really try it out. But of course, some heroes are built differently and can dominate the game even as a physical or magical damager. They are the ones that we call hybrid heroes. They can excel in the game even with magic or physical as their primary damage or both. And for today's video, we will talk about the controversial hybrid hero, Bane. So without further ado, let's go. Alright, so most of you will wonder how these hybrid heroes work. It is because they are built in a really unique way that can suit different kinds of damages. Just imagine that they are like hybrid tanks that can operate on land or in water. Bane is a unique hero because he can be a fighter and a mage. He is being used as a hybrid hero even before. There are also times that he is used more on the magical side of things than the physical one. But as time goes by, Bane with physical damage has dominated the game and was used as an ultimate pusher in Mobile Legends. But recently, Moonton did change Bane into his usual self and make him a fighter mage. And we've seen this as an effective way to dominate the game in the recent MPLI Blacklist Philippines versus the Onyx Indonesia. So moving on, let's start with his preparations. The first and most important factor in being a dominant magic hero is the emblem setup. I personally recommend this magic emblem if you want to use a magic type Bane. This emblem setup consists of mastery for you to have extra cooldown reduction in order to spam your skills more often. Also, the observation is for you to gain additional magic penetration for durable enemies. And lastly, the impure rage as your talent. This talent will help you inflict more damage to the enemies while gaining some mana every time you use a skill. Next is for his item builds. The first item that I could recommend you is the magic shoes. This item will help you especially in the early parts of the game because you will easily spam your active skills to harass opponents and clear minion waves. The next item is Clock of Destiny. This item will help you in many aspects of the game. It will increase your mana points, health, and also magic power. It also has a passive that adds up to 25 points of health and 4 magic powers every 20 seconds, and that can stack up to 12 times. If time reaches max, the hero will receive extra 5% magic power and 300 points of mana. This is a lot and can help you dominate the game in the early parts of it. The next item is a perfect pair of the Clock of Destiny, which is the Lightning Truncheon. This item fits well with the Clock of Destiny because of its passive that every 6 seconds, the next skill enhances dealing massive magic damage to up to 3 enemies and scale with the hero's maximum mana. And all we know that the Clock of Destiny gives a lot of mana. Aside from that, this item will provide you with the massive stats of 75 points of magic power, 300 points of mana, and 10% cooldown reduction. The next item is the Holy Crystal. This item will slowly improve your damaging capabilities since it has pure magic power addition. It will give you 100 points of magic power, and it has a passive that will increase your magic power by 21 to 35% that scales with your hero's level. That is why I suggest you purchase this item in the late parts of the game where your hero's level is almost at the max. For your second to the last item is the Blood Wings. This item will also make your damaging abilities much higher because it has an additional 150 points of magic power and 500 points of health. Aside from that, this item has a passive effect that can give you a shield equal to 200% of your magic power. The last item is Divine Blade. Since Bane will usually become the main damager or the secondary damager, it is crucial that you have the ability to penetrate high defensive abilities, mainly in the late part of the game, where they have already acquired many defensive items. This item has a passive effect that will grant you 35 magic penetration. Aside from that, this item will give you 65 points of magic power. I'm sure you noticed that I didn't put any defensive items in the build, including Immortality, which is, an essential in the late game. It is because personally, I think that defensive items is unnecessary when you use Bane as a magic damager, for the reason that magic power will massively increase your second skill healing capacity. In a way, Bane will be difficult to kill and can last longer in team fights with it. Now let us go to Bane's skills and abilities. The first is his passive skill, which is the Shark Bite. Bane infuses his weapon in the stack of tidal energy that can stack up to 2 times whenever he casts the skill. As a result, his next basic attack will be enhanced and deal massive damage to nearby enemies. The next skill is the Crab Claw Cannon. Bane fires a crab claw cannon in a designated direction, dealing massive damage to the enemy it hits. After hitting the first enemy, if there are more enemies behind or beside, it will bounce to them randomly. The next skill is the Ale. Bane will chug his ale, restoring massive health that scales with his magic power. And lastly, for the ultimate skill, we have the Deadly Catch. Bane summons the School of Sharks to charge in a designated direction, and when they hit enemies, and they will be damaged by Bane's physical or magical damage. Aside from that, this skill can also damage the turrets, which is why Bane is good at destroying towers. Lastly, we have the tips and tricks on how to use the magic version of Bane. First is to harass enemies of your opponents in your lane as often as possible. Bane's skills are excellent in the early game because they can clear minion waves while damaging the hero. Please take it as an advantage because it will help you translate well to dominate the late game. The second tip is that you should destroy towers as soon as possible. Don't take much of your time killing jungle monsters. Instead, it would be best to focus on building many items and destroying many towers. And the last tip that I can give you when you are using Bane as a magic damager is that you should not fight enemies with your skills if they are not available. Magic Bane is different from physical build Bane, where you cannot rely on your basic attack ability. And make sure to always use proper timing and be wise in your decision making and know when to fight and when not to. And that's it. I hope you learned a lot in this video, and make sure you don't hesitate when you see something that makes so much sense. And don't be shy and try out different builds. So, what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and don't forget to visit yugatech.com/gaming for more news, tips, and tricks. It's your boy Enzo, and stay safe.